Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a vetiver fragrance that I don't think you've put your nose on yet. So grab your popcorn, grab a drink, strap up, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble, where we discuss my fragrance journey, all the fragrances that I have, are currently acquiring, and just different concepts in the frag community that have to do with fragrance. I'm a big fan of fragrance. A lot of you know my story. I had 2 or 3 fragrances almost my entire life. It wasn't until about 5 years ago that I started acquiring fragrances, things like the clone, dupe, and inspired game, as well as just getting more financially set. And just at the age I'm at, being interested in the various things, I kind of revisited fragrance and said, you know what? What's out there now? What can I get my hands on? And what do I enjoy at my age and in my season of life? So that led down the rabbit hole of me acquiring, over 140 fragrances. Now I'm at around 150. And I wanted to start a channel that discusses fragrance from my perspective, with my story. Today we're going to talk about a fragrance that is from a fragrance house that is known for clones, inspired buys, and dupes. However, I don't believe that this fragrance is cloning anything. At least a lot of the Fragcom YouTube channels and stuff like that don't really mention this copying any fragrance or even in the DNA of a fragrance. And so if any of you guys know if this is actually cloning a fragrance, please put it in the comment section below. But this is just a wonderful take on vetiver that I don't think you guys have put your nose on yet. And I want to just say before we get into this, if I look a little bit crazy or I sound a little bit under the weather, it's because I am. I'm getting over a cold that is just destroying me. But I wanted to turn my camera on just once today to crank out yet another video and to just talk to the community and, just to do something other than lay in bed all day. So, bear with me. We're going to get through it, and this will be one of the shorter reviews. So the fragrance, again, that we're talking about today is none other than Amir, and it is Vibrant Vetiver Delight. And I think this is a snazzy fragrance, guys. In the vetiver category, typically from cheap to expensive, a lot of you guys are familiar with how vetiver can be represented. If you like vetiver, most people, they hear vetiver and have no clue what it is. But for those of you who are vetiver lovers and are used to fragrances like Terre de Hermes or Encre Noir, different things like that, Mancera's, Vetiver Sensual, vetiver can be represented in many ways. Now, vetiver is a tall grass, and I believe various parts of the plant are harvested, mainly the roots, and they're harvested in different ways in terms of how they're broken down to get different note profiles. Vetiver can be represented dark, earthy, woody, grassy, zesty, soapy, inky. And this is a completely different take on the vetiver. I'm going to show you just once the note breakdown real quick, just to say I did, and then we're going to completely ignore it. So far, this fragrance claims to have a top of Amalfi lemon, Tagetes, I don't know what that is, black currant, bergamot, which is citruses, and African orange flower, a mid note of violet, cyclamen, and jasmine, a base of vetiver, amber, musk, Virginia cedar. Okay. Now that we have got that out of the way, and here's what the bottle looks like, as you guys have already seen. Ignore Fragrantica and ignore that note breakdown that you just saw. This looks exactly how the bottle and juice looks. You will smell an instant burst of Sprite. A real authentic lemon limey Sprite, not Sierra Mist, not the new Sprite. I feel like Sprite these days is like a different formulation. It just doesn't pack the real lemon and real lime crisp taste that it used to have. But this does. It's slightly sweeter, and we can just ignore the breakdown altogether because what you will smell is the OG original Sprite. that is the vetiver take on here. I'm going to be honest with you. I wish this had a little bit more of the vetiver bite, but that's just a personal take. I don't think that that takes away from the any aspect of the fragrance, whether it's good or not, longevity, projection, etc. I just, for my vetiver taste, I like to be able to smell the vetiver bite. You know what I'm saying? Vetiver, that kind of grassy, earthy bite. I don't like it to be too much, but like if you look at Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver, it's got a nice little earthy bite to it. You look at Encre Noir, those have a huge bite to them, which is why I don't like most of them. But even the lightest one in Encre Noir Sport has got a little bit of a grassy bite to it. And I think that's what makes the vetiver nice, is when you kind of get that element of earthiness and it accents a fragrance and gives it class and maturity. This is by far the most playful take on vetiver that I've seen. And again, Amir, this might be Paris Corner. It is Paris Corner's Amir. They're known for making a lot of clones and dupes. However, I have yet to see the fragrance that this is cloning. I don't think it's actually cloning a fragrance. It's just a vetiver fragrance. I can't even think of off the top of my head, if it was cloning a fragrance, what it would be, because I've yet to smell kind of this. Some people online would say this smells soapy. I just completely disagree. Sometimes I think when people are reviewing a fragrance in attempts to describe deeply a fragrance, people might just kind of throw attributes out to a fragrance. But I really think this one does it justice when I say this smells like Sprite. You don't need to think about anything else. Picture yourself smelling a slightly sweeter, crisp Sprite. It's got a little bit of a soda element, not necessarily carbonation, but it's got a little bit of a spritz to it. And that might be the little bit that the vetiver is there, but I wouldn't really call it bite. This is a very smooth, clean, sweet, totally Sprite smelling vetiver. And that separates it from all the vetiver fragrances that I've heard of and that I know about, because it's just a super playful, light, clean fragrance. I think this can be any season, any reason. You know, who wouldn't want to smell like Sprite in high heat and even indoors? Now, you might think that because the fragrance is so light and crisp, that it might be weak on projection and longevity, which initially when I sprayed it on myself, I hit myself with about 8 sprays. And I would show you guys, but check out the YouTube short on this channel where I review this fragrance for 60 seconds, and I actually show the atomizer. This is one of the best atomizers I've ever come across. Just this nice, it sounds like psst, like it's a long mist of a, like if I just went psst, a cloud of just puffy mist would just fill the screen here. So it's just got great coverage off the atomizer. So I usually don't like to talk about things like atomizers and boxes and things like that, because I don't think it really matters. But this was an atomizer that was just so standout and so nice that I had to show it some love. Again, I think this is a 100 ml bottle. Yes, it's 100 ml. It typically, I think, has gone for about 30 to 50 bucks, but these days I was able to nab this for about 25. I wouldn't pay over 30 for this, just because, not because I think it's worth it or not, but just because the fragrance often is at the $25 or less price point. So I wouldn't really go over 30, including shipping, to acquire this. Again, I grab it when I'm trying to be like super playful, you know, by the water, running errands, something light. The projection and longevity is stellar here. This is one of those fragrances you're going to hit yourself 8 times. I think you could go 10 plus sprays because it's so non-intrusive. You know, you just care about having projection and longevity with a fragrance like this because it's so light. But I sprayed like 8 sprays, and then I went out, and in the car and stuff, I didn't feel like I was catching wafts of the fragrance. So I thought, man, the projection is trash. But then it sat on skin, and after about 30 minutes to an hour, I was catching wafts of it. Like, it was just leaving itself everywhere I was going, but it wasn't very projective to me. Like, I almost had to smell it in the different environments I was in. But, you know, there's certain fragrances, like, for instance, Off Non 9 p.m., where you're just gonna, wafts are gonna introduce themselves to your nose, like, frequently, and you're just always gonna smell yourself. This, you won't really just smell it right here, but when you get to moving around and going in different rooms, the projection and sillage and longevity is actually quite stellar. I'd give it about maybe a 6. So maybe even average. If 7 out of 10 is average, I think this is average. North of 5 hours, maybe even 6 hours plus, and it leaves great, trail behind. So I think if you're hitting yourself with 10 plus sprays here, you are more than fine. You won't even need to reapply really, but you guys know how I feel. If you need to rock the travel spray, rock the travel spray. But Vetiver Delight, again, we went over occasions, we went over price, we went over projection and longevity, note profile. I think this is ageless. I think the older you get with this, the more you need to chill on the trigger. Like, I was even finding myself trying to like hit myself a couple times with this just to have a playful zest to like other vetiver fragrances that I have. I think it could be a really cool layering fragrance. But as it stands, if you're north of like 30, 35 years old, this becomes super playful. I think for people anywhere between like 15 or 16 years old to 30, this is just a really fun, easy grab where you can go and load yourself up. Again, my own personal taste is I wish it had just a little more bite, because I feel like it would make it would be more suitable for a mature guy like myself. But if I'm in a super casual environment, I love smelling like Sprite. I'm going to be honest. And again, this is something you don't have in your collection. I'm certain of this. This vetiver take is clean and soapy, not quite as carbonated and poppy as like a gray vetiver take, but it does somewhat come off soda-y because there is vetiver in it. So it's got the tiniest bite, guys, like less than 5% of that grassy bite. It mostly just smells like you have cracked open a fresh Sprite next to you and you're catching a crazy waft of it. But it's warmer because it's got the amber below it. So fun take on vetiver. Definitely could be used as a layering fragrance. The scene, I think, for this is playful, casual. I don't know about date night or serious or formal. It's too playful for that. This is just easy grab and go. If you're in school, you can wear this every day. If you're in college, you can rock this to your classes or to gym or anywhere but like a date or a formal setting, and you're going to be nice. As an older guy, if you're going to the beach or you're going to a pool one day, you're going on a cruise, you're going on to a resort or something, you're going to be outdoors wafting it up. Hit yourself with 10 sprays and have a little fun take on vetiver instead of having such a grassy bite, mature, complex type of vetiver. Fun fragrance, guys. Let me know if you have Vibrant Vetiver. This is one of the vetiver fragrances I feel that trying to let you guys read it, but this is one of the vetiver type fragrances in the clone, Dupin inspired, and original house fragrances that I just waited so long to pull the trigger on because I kept seeing it for like 40 plus bucks, and I'm like, you know what? For a soapy fun take on vetiver, I'm not trying to spend more than like 30 bucks, and eventually it came down. I got it for like 25. But again, beautiful lemon lime vetiver fragrance. Ignore the note breakdown. Lemon, fresh lime, fresh cut vetiver, maybe 5 to 10% bite, 25, 30 bucks, 100 ml. You will not have a take on vetiver like this in your collection. My young guys, you will absolutely love this. If you're north of 30 years old, it might become more of a layering fragrance or a circumstantial fragrance that you want to pop out on to have a different take on vetiver. Hope this video was helpful for you guys. Sound off in the comments if you either own the fragrance or have any questions about it. Again, check out my YouTube short where I review this and show you guys the atomizer, because this fragrance is almost worth its weight in gold just off the atomizer. Again, it's just like psst. It's almost like low pressure type vibes. Love the fragrance. Highly would recommend this. I give it like I would say it's like a 8 out of 10 fragrance. It's not a showstopper, but I think it's certainly a conversation starter. It's a freshie with charm is what we're going to throw it in category for. And for that, freshie with charm, I'm giving it a solid, super solid, above average 8 out of 10. And I love what this is going to do for my collection in terms of what I can bust out on a summer, spring day, or even in cold weather if I'm trying to really be vibrant with my vetiver. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for rocking with the scent bubble. If you haven't already, please make sure that you like this video and turn on your notifications, drop any feedback if you want to provide some value so I can provide value back. And thank you guys so much for allowing me to hit 50 subscribers in less than 30 days. I am so honored, so privileged to be able to serve anybody as far as the frag community, and I seek to give you guys the best, most accurate information and to tell my story about fragrance. And I am so ready to go hit the bed now because I am sick and I'm trying to get over this cold very quickly. Love y'all, man. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Peace.